No, we are just going live, so we'll slowly, I think, have people pile up.
Okay, so do you want to wait for a couple of
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah. So I think I can give the context. So I
Okay,
think
go ahead.
uh, good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody from India. So this is Sean Shankaran, General Secretary, Indian Overseas Congress. We have Sam Pitroda, uh, the head of Indian Overseas Congress, with us today to talk about two important topics of the week, which is the electoral bonds judgment. I think after a lot of disappointments about EVM and many other things, Adani, Hindenburg, and stuff, so the judiciary, Indian judiciary, finally have stood up, and they kind of are reflecting the Indian citizens' mind, which is they have stroked down the electoral bonds, the whole scheme of things, and there's a big judgment about it, and the entire country is going gaga about it, and but none of the Indian media is willing to cover. We want to talk about it, and also the another important thing, which is about farmers' protest. There's a huge amount of farmers from Punjab and Haryana trying to get to Delhi, talk about things, raise their concern, about the assurances which was given by the government is not being met on MSP and bunch of things. So we are keen to explore both these topics. Let's talk. I'll let Sam give a quick context, and then we will get on to questions directly. So feel free to share your viewpoints, questions today, and I'll let Sam give the context. Go ahead, Sam.
Thank you, Sean. Greetings, everyone from Chicago. It is always a privilege and a pleasure to be with you, young group of people. For the last couple of weeks, we had conversations more on entrepreneurship, employment, and other issues. So Sean and I had a brief chat offline, and I told him that please give me your input on how things are going. And he brought two important points to my attention. One, he said, we need to increase interaction so it doesn't look like a long broadcast. Maybe I got carried away in the past and talked a little longer than I should have. So I accepted that and said, yes, I also feel that we need to increase interaction. Two, which is even more important, is that we really need to talk about current topics. Entrepreneurship and all that is good, but because of the elections around the corner, lots of interesting things are happening in the country. And it'll be good to talk about current issues, at least till elections, and not go off on tangent and talk about entrepreneurship, leadership, innovation, which are very important topics for young people. And I promise we will do that at some point in time. But now, too many interesting and exciting things are happening in India every day. And it is better for us as a result to really be focusing on the existing topics. And as a result, we collectively decided that it is better for us to have more interactive conversation and at the same time focus on current topics. So this is the change we are going to have from this week. So there are two current topics that require broader conversation, and I want to hear your views and your concerns on this. One is the election bond, and second is the farmers' protest. So let's first take election bond. I'll just set the 2-minute sort of stage for our conversation, and then we'll talk a little bit about the farmers' protest, and then we'll open up. Election bond is one of the three important issues that people have been concerned about. First one is paper ballot, paper receipt, VVPAT, EVM, and all that. People believe that we have lost trust and we want this election 2024 on paper ballot because we don't believe in VVPAT. We don't know what's going on. You may be right, but we believe there is room for manipulation. There is room to manage, control, change, intervene, whatever. So if you want me to be confident, I want paper ballot. I want to make sure that the vote I'm casting is the vote you are counting. Second, election bonds have been secretive. Large number of corporate homes or houses have donated huge amount of money, and most of the money is going to one party, ruling party, and everybody else is starved. Government decided to keep this information confidential, and this information should be made public. So fortunately, the court case, which was going on for several years, was finally heard by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court gave a decision that this is not fair. It is in public interest to make this information public, open, and it should be done by 15th of March or whatever the date is. And State Bank of India has been asked. I think it is an important decision. It is a very timely decision which puts confidence in our Supreme Court, because people were feeling that Supreme Court is not being fair to people. So we can talk about this. It is indeed a major victory for the people. And Supreme Court has shown that we have the courage and autonomy, freedom and flexibility to decide things that protect our constitution, put our democracy back on track, and win the confidence of the people, and do things which are in the larger interest of the public. This has been a key decision which is important at this time. The third issue has been more about electoral vote list database. Who has access to it? Why don't we make that public so civil society can work on it? And government decided to make it unavailable to civil society. So today we'll have interactions on the second topic, which is basically the bond. In addition, we see that farmers have come on the street. They are demanding sort of a guarantee of fair price floor. They have many other demands. This was an issue last year, and again it has come up in a big way now. So farmers are entering Delhi. Government is really not being very, I would say, friendly in their march, putting resistance, using drones, water hoses, barricades, roadblocks, large number of police, and it is aggravating the situation. And it could get out of hand. So we will discuss these two topics. With this brief introduction, I don't want to take too much time on elaborating this. I would like to now open up for a broader conversation, and as we go along, we'll comment and add more information, more values that you feel we need to make this a rich conversation. Thank you.
I think the first comment came from Arun Saxena, Sam. His question is around why Rahul Gandhi and Congress party is not raising his or their voice against banning EVMs. Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra would have facilitated the best exposure to people on its way. I think even though we are on farmers' protest and electoral bond, still I think the EVM thing is chasing us. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
No, I think Rahul Gandhi has raised his voice. The question is maybe you and I would like him to raise his voice a little louder. I agree with you that a lot of people are waiting and they are asking same question to me, saying why Congress party and Rahul Gandhi is not raising their voice against EVM. Digvijay Singh is the person in charge of this EVM issue. He has raised his voice. He has given interviews. Maybe Congress party and Rahul Gandhi are waiting for the India alliance to collectively raise their voice. And right now they are all busy adjusting seats and negotiating. And maybe this is not the time to raise this point. Let them go through the seat adjustments. And once they are all done with that, maybe then they will raise it. But I agree that this is one topic that could use their voice. Thanks, Arun.
Thank you, Sam. I think there may be some topics which are also related to Indian political realm, Sam. I think, like for
That's
example,
okay. That's okay.
Manav is from YouTube is asking why Congress not reacting on leaders leaving party. By seeing it, I am feeling so sad. Why this type of situation came to Congress party and why leadership is not trying to stop it?
Well, this is a very complex issue like anything else in India. First of all, if people feel that their future is at stake, their skeletons in the closet are going to be exposed, they are under threat, they leave the party. That's a personal decision. Okay. Why would anybody who believes in the idea of India that Congress believe would ever leave the party? I just don't understand. You can't say I was insulted, I was not given a promotion, they didn't select me for Rajya Sabha or whatever. So I'm a man of principle. I want to be with the party in difficult times. And I don't have to be with the party in good times. Okay. Some of these people feel exactly opposite. Saying in bad times, I will jump the ship and I'll join where there is big party going on. So they see party going on in BJP. And they have a lot of food lined up and they have a lot of drinks lined up. So that's just switch it. To me, unfortunately, these people don't have high moral ground, whatever it is. Okay. It is not about I was not respected. It is not about I was not given a chance. It is not about, I was mistreated. It's about what I believe in. How could you overnight flip if you're a secular person, if you believe in the idea of India, and one fine morning you say, okay, I'm leaving the party? I can't help if you want to leave the party. Congress cannot react if somebody wants to leave the party. You can't hold him on and say, look, no, you stay here, we'll make you a chief. That's what they want. Okay. It is not for negotiation. Okay. You, as a good leader, need to stay in bad times. And that tells me about the character of the person, personally. Okay. Saying, I'll jump the ship in bad times. And same people will come back and ask for favor if party comes to power. So I won't worry too much. Of course, I don't like it. Of course, I'm concerned about it. Of course, I want to make sure that they stay with us. you know. But if that's what they have selected, okay, and if that's what they want, there isn't much I can do. And a lot of people also make deals. Okay. I have lots of friends, I would say several close friends, who left whatever they're doing and they went to BJP and they are frustrated. They said, look, we are nobody now. Nobody pays any attention to us. We joined, but sad. Okay. We made a mistake. They say it in the private. Okay. But that's their personal option. Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Sam. I think Mediga Murthy from Facebook is asking. It seems that electoral bonds judgment from the apex court, people feel that the hope for revival of democracy is increasing, which is better for this plural nation, and it proves that in India, dictatorship controls all institutions except the judiciary. People still have confidence in one of the pillars of democracy. It looks like it's a commentary, but still, your thoughts?
Agree, Mediga. We are all delighted. We all have hope that Supreme Court will stand up, guard our constitution, do things which are in the larger interest of the democracy and people of India, and will not buckle up. And this decision is the beginning of that confidence building journey. I'm hopeful. I have confidence in Supreme Court. I believe there are several important issues in front of them, and they got to decide quickly and stand up for the Constitution and not allow people to hijack Indian democracy. So I agree with you completely.
Deepak Kumar Sahu wants to say hello. And Nihar Ranjan from LinkedIn wants to ask, it's not question of moral ground. Congress doesn't have passionate people at helm of affairs who can take a decision. I think it's a critical viewpoint. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand, Nihar, what you are saying, but Congress does not make decision based on an individual. You will see that Congress decision is little slow, which I agree, but it is more of a collective decision. It is wrong to assume that decisions are made by one or two people. There is conversation, and there are some decisions which don't need to be made. It is better not to make a decision and move on. You can't have knee-jerk reaction to every incident. That fellow left, respond. This fellow left, respond. No. You make decisions on major issues, and then you let people execute on those decisions. So it's a matter of style. And we sometimes confuse running a party like running a company. Running a party is much more complex than running a company. Running a company, you can fire somebody, you can hire somebody, you can abuse somebody. Running a party, you can't do that. And it is also not like running an NGO. Okay. It is all about collective wisdom. And if you really want to understand how to run a party, you need to understand the independence movement time, how they ran party then. Of course, then the enemy was identified, target was clear, so it was easier. Now enemy is within and target is very confusing. So it is complicated. But I don't like knee-jerk reaction to everything and act on everything. Okay. The question is all about high moral ground.
I think Nihar is also talking about Salman Khan's judgment by the court, same court, and also he's saying extremely slow on people who take the decision, hide behind doors, you lose again due to lack of presence in social media. I think looks like his commentary.
Yeah, fine. I mean, that's your view, and I respect that view. Okay. But whether Supreme Court did this judgment or that judgment is a separate issue. Okay. We tend to just go directly into all kinds of comparisons. Okay. And it ultimately winds up into tutu meme. you did this and I did that, and that fellow did this, and history said this, and that's not the issue, because things change. Every decision has its own time, its own environment. What made sense in 47, 52, 65, 85 don't make sense today. But those decisions were right at that point in time, based on that ecosystem. So there is no sense in criticizing what happened. I am one of those who firmly believe in looking forward and not looking backward.
Awesome, Sam. Sumant Hegde from YouTube is asking about this is about the farmers' protest. He's commenting about the MSP. It's not a good idea. Instead, food products should be used for biomass energy, ethanol, bioplastic. Then farmers will get right price. What are your thoughts on the Swaminathan committee report and stuff? And as a party, do you think have any stand about MSP, and or what are your thoughts personally?
MSP is a very, very complex issue. On the surface, it seems very simple. Let me give you a little bit of example. One, lot of the protest we see today is more about northern farmers, not about southern farmers, not about eastern farmers. It is more about northern farmers. Two, MSP relates to, I'm told, something about 23 different items, which is not all of the food chain. It may be 30% of the food chain, because food chain also include poultries, food chain include lots of other stuff. Even milk is an item. In those 23 items, most of the conversation relates to wheat and rice. So when you talk about MSP, you're talking about a small piece of the puzzle in a larger scheme of things that food chain relates to. Of course, farmer is an important contributor, and we want to make sure that the farmer's income is increased. And MSP is their version of one item. If you look at from the viewpoint of economist, it has to be left to supply and demand. If you look at from the viewpoint of farmer, help me to earn better living. If you look at from the viewpoint of big business, they want to hoard onion at low price, store it in their expensive storage facilities, and then sell it at a very high price, whether it is onion, potato, or apple. So there are different viewpoints, and you got to see it in totality. From the viewpoint of economist, MSP is not a good idea. From the viewpoint of farmer, give me some help. It's a good idea. What kind of help? Support system, not just guaranteed MSP. There could be a separate fund which is set up to help farmer. So there are many ways to solve this problem. I got involved in this in a big way in 80s when I was in charge of mission on oil seeds. Then we found out that all the oil mafia, especially in Gujarat, used to buy oil at low price, store it in a big way, and when there was shortage, they will get big prices. So we had to fix this. So I remember going to cabinet secretary, working with them in the government, and then requested Korean at NDDB, because they had a lot of cash, they had facility to buy this oil with support from the government, and then store it in NDDB locations and sell it at fair price. So they won't allow oil mafia to take all the profit. It got to a point, people were killed. It got to a point they burned warehouses. So these are big games because a lot of monies are involved. So MSP is one of those items that we learned a lot about during oil seeds and trying to fix prices for the oil. So MSP needs a larger solution. Okay. And it is not 100% of the food chain. It is a small piece of the puzzle. But we need to listen to the farmers. We need to understand their needs. If I had an option, I would work more on improving farming techniques, technology, indoor farming, more fruits and vegetables, not just rice and wheat, and transform agriculture in a big way to increase income of the farmer and not continue to grow more wheat and more rice, of which we have enough in storage. So I think we need to educate farmers to move to different technology, indoor farming, fruits and vegetables. India needs a lot of almonds, for example. We import all the almonds and pistachia and other things, dry fruits from foreign countries, and the quantity is in millions and billions. Why can't we do that? Okay. So there are a lot of issues in agriculture. It requires complete transformation of our agriculture. Our agriculture universities are not doing their job. Our agriculture research could do much better. Okay, like you talk about biomass and energy. Yes, I agree that a lot of our, look at the pollution in Delhi because of the burning of all the other stuff in Punjab and Haryana. Okay, why can't we produce energy from that? I agree with you. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. But this is a good start. The demand from farmer is a good start saying, do something. Okay. Sumant, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Sam. Selva Kumar from YouTube is asking, BJP is creating a perspective that Congress is weak 24/7. If we don't react properly, we will lose the game.
You see, it all depends. I mean, it's like saying, okay, we have a problem. We should do something. We should be more efficient. We should spend more money. Agree with all of that. Okay. Identifying problem does not require talent. Believe me. Not literally, but the point is, we got to find a solution. When you control all the media, when Prime Minister of a country in Parliament says we are going to win 400 seats, and then media blows it completely, all over, naturally, people believe that. Naturally, other parties feel demoralized. It is a psychological warfare. Okay. Reality may be very different than what you see. So that's why I insist that people learn to find their own truth. You got to question. You got to search. You got to understand and think, why is this media saying this? Is this a reality? Or it is just to demoralize everybody? I mean, you keep saying everybody 400 seats, 400 seats, 400 seats, and everybody says, it's not worth voting. Okay. So it's a game being played. I mean, I had an interview yesterday where somebody asked me about Prime Minister of India talking about me in the parliament without naming me. Okay. And I said, look, That's just not fair. Okay. Because Prime Minister lied. He didn't check his facts. But he's a Prime Minister, so he gets coverage. So it becomes truth. Nobody's going to listen to me because I don't have access to the media. So Prime Minister says, Sam Pitroda said this, people think it is true. It is not true. Prime Minister lied. I said this on the media. So these things happen. What do you do? Okay. Why farmers of Punjab is the only protesting for MSP? I think we talked about that. This protest is more from northern part of the country, and they are mainly growing wheat and others growing rice. So wheat and rice is not the only commodity. They should move on to other commodities because we have surplus, I'm told. I don't know all the facts and numbers, but MSP is about 23 commodities, of which wheat and rice is the bigger part. And these 23 commodities probably represent maybe 30% of the food chain. Okay.
Sounds good, Sam. And Vishal Shivare from Indian Overseas Congress is asking, we are hearing that Modi government is planning to overturn the Supreme Court's ruling on electoral bond. How do you see this? I think there are multiple other people also have said State Bank of India may go ask for a stay, vacating this particular judgment. So what are your thoughts?
I don't know enough about the legal aspect of it. I'm not a lawyer. And I would see how it unfolds. Okay. Now it could get into the procedural part, and you can, tie this up in a tangle. But the moral high ground that Supreme Court has taken is valid. That you can't ignore. Now you can go find a process here and there to fix this and fix that. That's technicality. Okay. And people do a lot of these things. People use systems to sabotage a good idea. So at the end of the day, people of India will have to really take this very seriously. That's why you have public demonstrations. Okay. It can get to a point that public will demonstrate on this issue if that issue is very important to public. Okay. It's like Arab Spring. How did Arab Spring come about? Arab Spring came about the fact that people were fed up. Okay. So.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'll hand it over to Priyambata quickly so that India with Congress, there are a lot of people who have joined through XSpace.
Sure.
Go ahead, Priyambata.
Yeah, so just adding to that, sir, do you think that BJP will bring about an ordinance or something like that, to just stall the 13th March deadline? Because if 13th March, because the court has directed actually to publish the list of people who are, contributing to through the corporate electoral bonds. So do you think they will, because they did the same thing when during the Delhi regulation by Supreme Court, they brought an ordinance and canceled the whole judgment. Do you think they can resort to this again?
I have no idea because I said earlier, I don't know the legality of it. But they will do everything possible because they are going to be exposed. Mainly because they have benefited the most out of electoral bonds. So naturally, they'll do that. That's their job. They want to protect people who gave the money. They want to hide things, and they have promised them that your names will not be published. So they will do everything possible. Again, it is up to Supreme Court to stand up and say, look, we are not going to allow this shenanigan. Okay. And the battle has just begun. Okay. And it's only one piece of the puzzle. The other piece is left. If a decision from Supreme Court comes on EVM, VVPAT, that we want only paper ballot elections, it'll have another repercussions. But ultimately, I think people of India will have to stand up.
Absolutely, sir. So there is a question from Sridhar. Sridhar, can you unmute?
Yeah, thank you, Priyamada. So
Hi,
my question,
Sridhar.
hi. So the question is, with the March 13th deadline, once the list of contributors or those who contribute to the bonds is published, what do you think and how will it have affect the business environment? Because a lot of big corporates are going, their names will come out. And is there an unease among corporates? Is it going to affect the business environment in any way? Because it's not a level playing field. How do you think it's going to play out? Or are the corporates nervy about it? What are your thoughts on it?
Of course, they will be nervous. Of course, there'll be upheaval in the system. But, I have a very different view. And I have expressed my view in America as well. And yesterday's television or the YouTube interview, I talked about it. I personally believe corporates should not be allowed to fund elections anywhere in the world because they don't vote. People vote, and people should be allowed to fund elections. Why should corporate fund elections? They have no vote. They don't vote. And then when all these corporate leaders donate money, they might be owning 5 or 10% of the company. Rest of the company could be owned by the bank, public sector, public, other institutions. So when they really donate 100 crore to their favorite party, they are really donating 95 or 90 crores of public money. It's not fair. Who gives them that authority? So, but this is the big idea. Even in America, elections are run by, corporate interest because it's a club. It's a club of business people, politicians, and bureaucrats. They all hobnob together. So, in the long run, world over, I hope only people are allowed to fund elections because they are the only one who vote. So, I have a different view.
Thank you, sir. Niyati, would you like to ask a question? Please unmute.
Hi, Niyati, how are you? Good to hear from
you.
you.
I'm good, sir. Much kind of good. We're going through some tough times, so I'm sure you know Mumbai and Maharashtra. We are, but doesn't matter. We're gonna be rising like a phoenix, so
good.
And that's how we aim to take forward. So farmers protest. I would like to just ask you. Of course, farmers are our strength, our backbone of our economy. They are somebody whom we've always looked up to on and we've been taught to respect. I think they are the most kind of people when we talk in economics. I think their hard work and everything. But the way BJP has been portraying this farmers' protest, sometimes they've been terming it as Khalistani aided, or kind of they're doing it in deliberation. It's just like a gimmick, and they've been made fun of. They've been targeted. They've been hit. There are violence kind of that's happening. Recently, of course, in the previous protests, we've lost some 770 farmers' lives. And now the very recent close to 100 people got injured in their clashes. And around 3 farmers lost their eyesight. What I am understanding, and sir, I think it's most of you people will agree here, but everything is just being so normalized. And what is happening with the general public? Why are things being looked upon with such a normal thing? It's just so normal. What's happening to our conscience, the people, in fact, the public at large? Why can't they be just understanding that certain things are not going really right. There are some section of people who are understanding, who probably have a better analysis of things. But this, the way they are kind of treating the farmers, the way they are having clashes, they are not being, kind of led to enter uh, the protest sites or the Delhi properly. So just want to understand if even the most humble, the honest set of our economy is being treated and being looked upon so badly. Of course, they're setting up a narrative, BJP, and successfully people are also falling apart. There, I mean, some videos that came in, we saw that. So what kind of normalization is this, sir? And how do we kind of counter this and make people aware that, look, dude, this is just wake up your conscience. I mean, this is not something our India was ever, and we were at least, when did we become so harsh? When did we become so inhuman? How do we go about it, sir?
Well, thank you for your question and thank you for your concern and your emotions. I admire what you are saying. I'm equally concerned about it. But you see, people have been mesmerized by Ram Temple, by Hindutva idea. Today it is farmer, tomorrow it will be Dalit, day after tomorrow it will be OBC. Minorities are already under a lot of pressure. I talk to many of my Muslim friends and they are terrified, right or wrong. Okay. And then you talk to 100 and there may be 2 people who are very happy with what is going on. And they take those 2 and put it on national media. And everybody thinks that they represent 100%. So it's a media game. Everything is choreographed. Everything is on the stage. Every word you speak. I mean, I watched that Ram Temple inauguration in bits and pieces. And it was a totally choreographed event as if it was an Oscar award. Okay. Only person that got attention was Prime Minister, as if nobody else mattered, as if nobody had worked on it. Credit doesn't go to anybody. And that is the sign of an authoritarian regime. Okay. So, of course, they will have a different view of the farmer today. But tomorrow it could be OBC. Day after tomorrow it could be Dalit. And that is the message that we have to take to people. So people like you and a lot of our young people, if they ask me what they should do, I would advise them to go door to door in the neighborhood. Talk to people. Don't be shy or afraid to tell the way you feel. And explain to people that, look, this is very complex. Don't get carried away. Okay? Look at a larger picture, which is democracy, human rights, freedom, justice, fraternity. And these are the issues in our constitution laid out very clearly. Dignity, respect. People want respect. People want to be treated properly. We don't respect Harijans. We don't respect minorities in many ways. We don't respect, poor people. And all of this has to change. Okay. And we have to remind people that Prime Minister is a Prime Minister of a country and not of a small group of people. He's everybody's Prime Minister. He cannot act like a Prime Minister of a group of people who voted for him. And that's my major concern. Prime Minister is also Prime Minister of the 60% of the people who did not vote for him. And he got to be nice to them. He got to be respectful to them. He got to listen to them. But that's my view, and I'm sure other people will say it's exactly opposite to their view. And I agree to disagree with them.
So Ganesh from Ganesh Vasant Rao, could you please unmute and ask your question?
Hi, Ganesh.
I think he's lost connection.
Okay.
So before that, just one quick comment. Like it's an irony that the government which announced Bharat Ratna to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, they are unable to implement his recommendations. So it's quite a contradiction, isn't it? Like on one hand, they award him Bharat Ratna, and on the other hand, his daughter is appealing to all the scientists. Yesterday there was a conference saying that. Please help the farmers, and she couldn't stand and see the pain the farmers were going, because they are treated like criminals or terrorists, and this is not the way to treat our own countrymen who feed us, in
No,
fact.
they feed India. They
Yeah,
deserve respect. They may have unreasonable demand. Fine, let's talk about it. Let's be open. Let's try to find a solution. And at the end of the day, MSP is not the only solution. There may be other solutions. Okay. The key is to really improve their income. Prime Minister had promised that their income would be doubled. Okay. Didn't happen. And then Prime Minister even today says that my, promise is the last word. If I promise, I deliver. You haven't delivered on employment. You haven't delivered on farmer doubling the income. You haven't delivered on many issues. How dare you can just proudly say? But that's all media shows.
Modi ka guarantee.
So it's okay. It's all, part of the package. What they say is not what they mean. And what they mean is not what they say.
Okay. Premad, I'll just take some of the questions from LinkedIn and other places. So I think my company wants to help the party to win election. Can you inbox me? Nihar Ranjan. Okay. And
okay, hold on. Can you hold on? Just go back to his question.
I think he wants to reach out to social media strategy for East. Nihar Ranjan.
Okay, just talk to me. I'll connect you to the right person. Okay.
Thanks, Nihar. Vidushi Shukla from YouTube is saying, if Congress or India Alliance comes to power in 2024, will the media be held accountable for their biased role since 2014?
I don't know whether I want to be vindictive, personally. That's not our nature. Okay. But we will make sure that media is fair, free, independent, and not under the control of anybody. That we will make sure.
Awesome. Manav from YouTube is asking, Sachin Pilot need to carry party in his hands all over country. He's a man who can beat the Modi and his party. I'm requesting you, Sam Pitroda ji, if you will speak to Rahul Gandhi, tell him.
See, we all have our opinion on what is right, what is wrong. What you see is not what you get many times. We are aware of the situation. Rahul is pretty much on top of this. And party will make the right decision. I can tell you that. Okay. It is not about your opinion. I appreciate your opinion. That's one opinion. There are many opinions and there are many sides to an individual. You may see one side. And it's a very complex issue.
Chira Katrani from Indian Overseas Congress believes that there are farmers from other part of India where they don't get MSP. Why this protest?
I agree with Chirag. I said that these are northern farmers. There are only 23 commodities. It doesn't include everything. Okay. If there is MSP for these 23 commodities, why not for eggs? I'm just giving a different example. Okay. Why not MSP for milk? Why not MSP for almond? Okay. So these are complex issues, my friend. But we need to find a solution. Okay. We need to really sit down with farmers and really comfort them listen to them, maybe work out a roadmap, for next 5 years, and take them into confidence. Okay.
Sam, how are we doing on time? So 45 minutes. I thought we'll keep it sharp, but there are
You all decide that. I am okay. It is up to you all. But I hope this was useful.
Yeah, of course, Sam. There are a lot of interesting questions. Okay, let us wrap up with those list of questions and then maybe give a wrap. Sumant Hegde wants to from YouTube is farmer main reason for farmers' problem is small land holding, corporate farming, which leads to wealth concentration. So I think you also spoke about some of this corporate or private equity influenced farming back in North America or Western countries. So what are your thoughts?
You see, the farming all over the world is going through major challenge. It is not just in India. Farmers in Europe went on strike. Farmers in US are also agitated because farming has become less profitable. Partly because the productivity has increased, there is surplus food, and you can't really demand the price you want because market is dictating. Two, in Western world, small farmer is dead. Corporate people are coming in. Now they are going to Africa and other places and buying thousands of acres of land for farming or leasing land from government. So farming has become a manufacturing process. You are manufacturing food through all kinds of collective bargaining. So farming industry is going through a turmoil. Fewer and fewer people are going into farming business, but you need to produce food. So what works in Germany or France or US doesn't necessarily work in India because all our farmers are small. Landholding is very small. Okay. So we need to find Indian solution, Indian methods. Of course, we learn best practices from everywhere else. Okay. There's a question here from Rajesh about dryland farming. Okay.
So Rajesh Kampagowda from Twitter is asking.
The dryland farmers are more vulnerable and they end up do one crop a year without a minimum support price. I agree. But dryland farming is another area where there's a lot of opportunity, believe me. Okay. And I was involved in dryland farming in Rajiv Gandhi's time as part of the mission, where we encourage people to move on to mustard, rapeseed oil, sunflower. That was a revolution in 80s. Okay.
Aman from YouTube is asking, government cannot come up with ordinance because they cannot completely overrule judgment of Supreme Court. The difference in market price and what farmers get is huge. Corporates are directly benefiting. They selling at a very high prices in India and also exporting at very prices. Farmers should get MSP.
Agree, Aman. I think you are making good points, and maybe you all need to also talk to your community, explain, and you should, you're very knowledgeable people. I see some of these questions from young people are pretty impressive. So you should be talking to your community. You should be giving lectures in schools and colleges and, chaurahas and telling people what the real situation is. Don't keep this to yourself. You also have community responsibility.
Sunny Kumar is saying that after 15 years, Haryana, Punjab became Rajasthan due to rice production scarcity of water.
Yeah, it's very true. Part of it is true because rice requires a lot of water. Okay, and you can't be growing rice in that part of the world. Rice is better grown, in Assam and Cherrapunjis and where there is a lot of water.
I think Sunny also want to talk about the drug issue related to, I don't know how it may be related to farming. Punjab farmer take drugs and do farming to grow only in rice and comfort zone. It may not be entirely true, but yeah, go ahead, Sam.
But there is also another phenomena world over where farmers sell their precious land for development, whether it is road, power plant, factory, offices, and they cash out. And they are no longer in farming. And now they have a lot of surplus money. And their kids don't know what to do. So they buy a motorbike, they buy a car, they live lavish life that they had never expected. But the land value has gone through the roof. And a piece of land is now worth 2-3 crore. And the income from farming is tens of thousands per year. Why work all that hard? You can put this money in the bank and earn enough money. But this also creates social problems. Drug is part of that equation. Okay? Because meaningful work is important in life. It is fulfilling. If you sold your land, have your money, and use all these, fancy ways to spend money, your life is empty. And that's what happens to many. Okay.
Mediga Murthy from Facebook is asking regarding the farmers issue, why is this government interested in suppressing the farmers' registration with iron fists and pellets instead of listening to their problems and resolving them peacefully? It is very unfortunate that farmers who feed the nation agitate in Delhi outskirts are being stamped as terrorists. Samji, please comment.
I agree. That's my comment. Okay.
So Sumant Hegde again asking main reason. Okay, will for farmers' problem small holding of land, will corporate farming helpful or leads to wealth concentration?
So I think indoor farming and multiple crop and shifting to more nutritious crop, fruits and vegetables, is perhaps the answer.
Okay, Veer Seth from Facebook is asking, India will transform in new life after suffering so much. Okay, it's maybe a commentary. I think.
Yeah, but I think there is no need to suffer that much. Why should we assume that we have to suffer? Okay, we have to intervene at the right time and not wait for enough suffering to react.
Chirag is again asking, why North Indian farmers protesting, not South India or other parts who are also not getting MSP?
No, I think it is not that South Indians are getting MSP and North Indians are not. I think MSP has to do with 23, I'm told, different types of crops. And as I said earlier, that is not the complete picture of the Indian food chain. So, North Indian farmers are suffering more, perhaps, because of their focus on rice and wheat. And South Indian farmers are much more diversified, much more, satisfied with their income. So that may be the reason.
Aman is saying, I think this is also a lot of propaganda in the internet. I think this may be one of the appeals of the farmers who are protesting on the pension. So I think Aman is asking about it. Why farmers are saying to implement C2 plus 50 and pension to farmers as mentioned in Swaminathan report that will ultimately benefit small and medium farmers?
See, pension, insurance are also major topics for farmers. Farmers' insurance is a major topic, like our auto insurance. We all pay and we all pray that there won't be accident. Okay.
Pray and pray.
Yeah, because we know that when something happens, insurance will come to my rescue. So farmers insurance is another major area to look at. And rightfully so, some farmers feel that why should I pay now? But that's the risk mitigation plan you have to have. We do that for car accidents. So farmer accidents also will have to be covered. So insurance is another big piece of the puzzle. Okay.
Sir, I think Niyati has something to say.
Yes,
Niyati, yeah.
Sir, regarding the space, actually, I had a little conversation with Shan as well. Just one little suggestion that we just put across, and so. Can we also have another kind of depends different kind of leaders coming for some sessions? It would be like great one thing that we can have more crowd and more local connects, sir. Like for example, the domestic, any state leader or anybody else like that. So we can have much more local people, more interactions.
you should do that. I think if you find a local leader, we should do that. We could have a session on local leader. We should find the people. Okay, sure, no problem.
Absolutely.
So it can be.
But I do not want to. You see, I do not want to get into debate. I avoid that with people in India. Okay, because we have a different frame of reference. Okay, local leader may have his own, priorities. Okay, so I avoid that. I never go to any panel discussions in India at all.
Okay.
Because we are talking from a different perspective. Okay, I'm not looking for vote. I'm not a politician. I have no personal interest. I'm 82. I don't need praise. I don't want you to clap for me. Okay. So all that is over. And I don't want to be in a conversation with another person with a different angle, which I respect. I'm not undermining. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But we are at a different phase of life. Okay. And I want to talk to young people myself. But that doesn't mean young people should not talk to others. They should. I encourage that very much.
And Sunny Kumar is saying all farmers are who are protesting are jailed in BJP ruled states. And I think he also mentioned.
I don't know the facts. I don't know the facts.
And he also says all vacancy of central government and only admit RSS, VHP, BHP, BJP people in all ECI, CBI, ED department jobs.
I've heard that, and this is a matter of concern to lots of people. And
on electoral bonds, I think Sunny is giving a very interesting commentary. 400 seats, Prime Minister got 440 voltage shock by Supreme Court. And he is also inviting you, Sam, sir, you come to India for 3 months.
I'm there mentally, physically, 24 hours a day. The only thing is when I come to India, you wind up spending too much time in socializing, which I avoid. I'm totally, in many ways, not a very social person. I don't go to dinners. I do not go to weddings at all. Let me tell you something very surprising, which will be hard for you to believe, and for me also to believe. I have 7 brothers and sisters. I have never attended anybody's wedding. I do not go to wedding. I do not go to parties. I do not watch movies. I do not play golf. I just don't do those things. So I'm a social outcast. Okay. I mean, in Delhi, when I was there, people say, "Oh, why don't you play golf?" I said, "No, I can't see myself playing golf and worrying about poor people in India. It doesn't compute." But that doesn't mean you can't play golf. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm looking down on you because you're playing golf. But I don't do that. Okay. every once in a while I'll show up at some party because I'm with some friends and they want to go badly. And they would say, come. So I'll just join. I had a very close friend, Dinesh Trivedi, and I lived in his house for many years. And he was a member of parliament. And he would say, let's go. There is some music party at Taj Hotel. I remember once some great singer was singing, so we'll go. Okay. But I'll go because of my friend. So I don't know how we got into this, but I'm not a very social. Oh, yeah. Why don't you spend 3 months?
Yeah. Sumant is saying economically left edible oil or in the hand of corporates, why cannot we re-establish cold press oil traditional method?
Yeah, edible oil is a big issue. We used to import huge amount of edible oil. We reduced that import and we are back to importing a lot of edible oil, I am told. I mean, why should India not produce enough edible oil? Why India should not produce enough almond? Why should India produce enough pistachio? I mean, these are the things that we need to do. Okay.
But
I mean, a country of 1.5 billion people don't produce enough almond? Come on, give me a break. Okay.
But this traditional methods of cold press oil, I don't know. There is a lot of, again, this is kind of...
And domain experts will have to figure that out.
Yeah.
We may not be knowledgeable.
There's a lot of problem in India now. There is this our ancient Indians know all of this, and we know the best methods. The Western methods came and spoiled us, is that theory.
I don't know about that. Okay. All I want to look at is the knowledge we have today and take advantage of the knowledge of the past.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of knowledge in Ayurveda, which is important that we follow. But Ayurveda cannot do surgery. So accept that and move on. So we have to take best of everything.
Pillamari Srinivas from Facebook is asking, it is the Adivasi farmers who are losing their lands, which are the main source of their livelihood to the industries. Mining and MNCs are acquiring their lands in the name of development. However, Adivasi rights never got attention and were prioritized even during the farmers' agitations. It is high time to focus on Adivasi livelihoods and their rights to natural resources.
100% in agreement with you. You see, we are always caught between monetization of mining and rights of the Adivasi. World over, this has been a challenge. What we have not done properly world over is given Adivasi a fair share in mining. Don't take their land away for a fixed price today, but put their land in the investment where they have earning stream. So if I was to give a mining right to somebody, I would say, and I don't know how to articulate this, but I would say, look, 25% of the profit or shareholding would be by Adivasis. They will also get rich. Today, what happens is you get mining rights and all your money is stored in England or Europe or US. And people locally have nothing to show for monetization of their land. And that's a challenge. We haven't really done a good job of sharing this prosperity with local people. And it's a problem world over.
Arun Saxena, we responded to your question. Your question was the first question we took. It's about the EVM thing. I think Sam's stance still remains the same. I'll just quickly go to Vidushi Shukla. So you have mentioned that South farmers might be earning more than North farmer. How did this divide come into play? I am a North Indian living in South, and even I see a clear difference. Why?
Well, there is a clear difference between South and North. There's a clear difference in education. There's a clear difference in, you look at the statistics in Kerala, female literacy, infant mortality. You look at same in Karnataka. You look at in Tamil Nadu. You look at in, Telangana. These 4-5 states are fairly advanced in many ways. Social indicator economic indicator, technology. So you got to give it to them. Okay. I mean, look at all the Tamil experts in government. You got to respect that. Yeah. I mean, after independence, most of the government was run by South Indian bureaucrats. They were good. They are good. Yeah. So that has been a tradition. Yeah. And the tradition continues.
Sounds good, Sam. I think
They pay more taxes. You know that South Indians pay more taxes.
Yeah.
A lot of those taxes go to subsidize things in Bihar and UP and other places.
I think the entire South Indian chief ministers were recently in Delhi protesting this the lesser funding from the GST, right? I think we pay a lot of tax and we are not getting it back. So I think 28 paisa is what I think Tamil Nadu is getting for that matter,
Right.
for every 1 rupee which is paid through GST.
Yeah, yes, sir. Even Maharashtra, like it pays if they pay 1 rupee, they only get 7 paise in return. So even Maharashtra was protesting with this imbalance in what they get and what is being
That's why people from
Yeah.
North move to South India for jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of people from North and East come to West and South for jobs because that's where the prosperity is.
Yeah.
I think the focus on inclusion, social inclusion played a huge role. I think many of the South Indian states, because of this Dravidian model and few of the leaders like Periyar
Very
has
true.
helped.
Very true. Very true. Okay.
I think you are always right, Sam, on focusing on the caste problem, that caste census and things will solve. I think will take India far ahead. I think maybe at least good 20, 30 years ahead if we are able to solve that very quickly. I don't know whether we will be able to solve.
It is basically more about respect and dignity. Forget about caste, forget about OBC. I mean, what kind of a name is that OBC, other backward class? I mean, I'm supposed to be OBC. Who the hell decided that I should be a backward class? It's a funny thing. You call me backward class because you decided to call?
Forward caste.
So I
Whatever
think the
it is.
whole thing of this caste thing should be, just
Exactly. It should be
normalized
abolished. Saying
and
there is no caste
normalized.
mass business.
Yeah.
Everybody is decent
Everyone
human
is
being.
at par and everyone gets the same rights and same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. But it takes time. It takes
Yeah.
time to do that. You got to work out a roadmap. Okay. Because the lower caste people also want everything freebie. That's also not fair. Okay. But you need fair representation. Rahul talks about number of lower caste people in government decision-making position, which is true.
Yes, sir.
Number of vice chancellors, which is true. Okay. And it's not that we don't have smart people from lower caste. They are there, but they don't get an opportunity. So
That's
we have
an
to help them.
injustice. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have to help them.
So that's what, like, unless we have like the caste census, we won't know where we are lacking and where we want to, put our more resources. So that's what Rahulji is trying to, first let's have a caste census, like what we are lacking in, and then only we can restore parity and equality and give the people their proper rights.
You have to be colorblind and you have to be caste blind. Okay. I don't need to know anybody's caste. I deal with thousands and thousands of young people. I have never in my life ever asked anybody what is your caste. I don't even know what it means. Okay. I'll give you one funny example and then maybe we'll close. I was once in, where was it in? Yeah, I was once in South India inaugurating a business school foundation. Some business school was being formed, and so we were all supposed to lay the foundation stone. Okay. So my wife was with me, and we go and there are drums being played, and there are vice chancellors and chancellors and everybody, there were hundreds of people following us. And we go to this little dugout place, about 7-8 feet. And there are pandits doing puja before you lay this foundation stone. And then drum is beating and this and that. And I'm supposed to be chief guest. So this pandit is saying all kinds of things in local language. And then all of a sudden he says to me, "What is your gotra?" I don't know. I didn't even know what gotra meant. So I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "What is your gotra?" I said, "I don't know." And the puja can't proceed any further. Okay, we need to know your gotra. So my wife is up there listening, and she realized that there is some commotion. So again, people started asking me in English, "Sir, what is your gotra?" Because he needs to know your gotra. I said, "But what is gotra?" So then my wife screamed from top, whatever our gotra is, I don't even know. She said something. And then Pandit understood it, and then drum started playing, and process went on. That's the India we live in.
Yeah.
Okay, if they don't know my gotra, they can't go forward.
It's kind of, I think, subsect kind of a thing inside the caste, which
I have
they
no
try
idea
to
what my
avoid.
gotra is. And
Yeah.
I still don't know, because my wife that day said some word which meant something. Okay. And it went on. But this is the India we live in. What can you do? Okay.
So I think it was a very great session, Sam. I think today I think we are back to form. So it looks like I think we had a lot of interesting questions. I think more than 20 plus questions we took from the audience from
Thank you.
corners. So looking forward to talk to you with another interesting topic next week, Sam. So I think we have crossed 30 plus days of Bharat Nyaya Yatra. Congratulations to Rahul Gandhi
Thank
again,
you.
and looking forward, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you all. I think you all have been very generous with your time, and I appreciate your joining me. I also learned from you, and let's keep this conversation going. It's energizing for me. It makes me feel younger.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir, absolutely.
Thank
So
you,
it's very enriching, and we learn a lot from you. And
Thank
we'll love to hear your stories, your experiences. So it's always an enriching
Oh, I have
experience.
so many stories,
Yeah.
Priyambara. I have so many interesting stories,
Yes,
so
sir.
many funny stories, crazy stories.
So we would like to hear those, like your personal anecdotes and
Oh
how.
my God. There's just
Yeah,
so many interesting, because I came from such a
yeah,
ordinary background. Everything was an experience.
yeah. So we'll do those sessions
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're happy to
after.
do it.
Yeah, when
Okay.
we.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sam. Thank you,
everybody.
Priyamata.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Niyati, and
Thanks.
Thanks.
India with Congress.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
you all.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.